What's happening?
How you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Right.
Let's see. Medical. Luka, Maxi went to practice. So did Kessler. Exum is the only one out.
What are some of the specific things that you're kind of working on ahead of Thursday's opener? Obviously, with a team like San Antonio, they have a lot of length, and guys like Wembanyama. I guess, what are you looking to emphasize going into that matchup?
Yeah, that happens to be the game on Thursday, but right now we're still focused on ourselves. San Antonio's well coached, have a young player in Victor, have vets, Barnes and Chris Paul over there. So, but we'll start talking about them tomorrow and Wednesday. But today was more about us. Again, working on pace. Working on the relationship, chemistry with Luka, Kai, and Klay. But also the other guys, we're trying to look at different combinations to make sure that we have enough on tape to see and start getting guys into their rotations and understand who they're playing with.
How difficult is that to try to settle into like rotation with practice reps as opposed to what you saw in live action during preseason?
It's actually not hard. For those who got to watch practice, they probably can tell you too. The practices here of late, the energy and the attention to detail has been extremely high, and we need that. We can't tiptoe into this season. And so we understand that, and I think the guys have done a great job of doing their work and getting prepared for the season.
How much does help with that situation?
Huge. Because training camp and preseason, we were banged up, and so to be healthy here, almost 100% healthy going into the season, it's a good thing. That doesn't mean that you automatically are going to win games, but this is a different team. We have some new guys, so the more that we're healthy, the more that they create this relationship, I think in the long run we'll be in a good position.
What do you like about this team in terms of depth?
What's that?
What do you like about this team in terms of the amount of depth that you have?
Yeah, I think the depth is really good. You can see it in practice when you talk about the intensity, the confrontation of competition at a high level. It's not personal. It's about getting us better, and that's what I like about this group so far. There's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of pushing one another, and it's in a positive way. And this is like the first time I've seen it where it's not someone taking it, on to themselves, but it's about how do we make each other better, and it's been great.
Jason, a minute ago, you said the attention to detail has been really high. I know I still recall you in one of your availabilities last week saying this year we're really focused on small details.
Yep.
To the degree that you can address that, what are some small details that you're looking at that you think are the difference in providing some margins to win some more games?
Just promoting or instigating conversation between the players. That's a small thing, but it's a big thing when they can talk, especially the new guys with the guys that have been here, just starting that relationship of understanding you can have that conversation without it being, where someone feels attacked. It's just about how can I, do something better? Where do you like the ball? Those are small things that can help us win games. It can help, from not having that turnover because of that relationship of being able to talk about it in practice.
To build on that, who have been some of those leaders in terms of like starting that communication?
Kai and Luka. When you look at the last 3 or 4 practices with Luka on the floor, the intensity has picked up. Everyone is getting wide open shots. But I think when you look at what he's doing on both ends, just the talk that he's had as a leader, he's talking and then Kai's talking. And so when your two leaders are talking and talking about the details about where to be both offensively and defensively, it makes the game a lot easier.
PJ said there's going to be more emphasis on defense this year. Can you expound on that a little bit?
It's always on defense. Just a matter of when they catch a rhythm of the defensive system. And so we'll see. Hopefully we can get off to a good start like we did last year. But I think everyone, again, paying attention, listening to what we're asking them to do. They're doing it at a high level right now.
How has the chemistry building gone with Klay? You talked about it. Have you seen anything with him playing this Luka? I know you have to get used to the timing and passing sometimes. Has anything stood out to you?
He's Klay. He looks good. Those two seem like they have a relationship that they've been playing together for a while, and so that's in a positive way. Klay is doing everything that we've asked him to do, both offensively and defensively. And I think you'll see that as time goes in the season, that those two have a good relationship of what each other can do. We talk about the late pass with Luka. It takes time to get used to that. But he's so strong when you think that he's going for a layup or you think that you're covered, he can fire a fastball to you. So I think he's done a great job, and I think Luka's made sure that that he's gotten some touches there to make sure that he knows that he's always going to be open, or he believes that he's open. So that relationship is in a positive way, really, really good.
Jason was just talking about the intensity level of practice ever since Luka came back. He said you and him have kind of been like the leaders as far as communication. Because how important is that, fostering that communication level of comfort with your teammates during this time?
Yeah, well, it's very important. Build that continuity, build that trust, and just have some fun. Finally with everybody on the court, it's good to have a healthy group. We're still relatively healthy. A few guys are down, but whenever me and Luka are in practice, it's going to be a high intense practice because we want to go at each other, we want to compete, and we want to set a great example for the rest of the guys. And I think the rest of the guys feel the same way for us. We want to go as hard as we can just to make practices a little bit harder in the games.
Overall, where do you see this team at? Obviously, you had 4 preseason games. You played in a handful of them. Just where do you see this team at on the floor?
We're in a great place right now. I think a lot of us are motivated. We're focused. We're driven. We have our priorities straight, and we're just ready for another long journey. And I think the most important thing for us is just remaining healthy, doing everything we can on the off days to better prepare for our opponents, and then also ramping up our film and our communication when we're preparing for games.
You have some history with Klay as far as the NBA Finals is concerned. What's it like being so far to be his teammate?
His teammate? No, it's great. I don't take it for granted at all. Being out there with such a special talent, special player, even better person, it's definitely a luxury I don't take for granted any day.
What kind of guy is he?
What kind of guy is Klay? When you get to know him, he's a regular human being, man. He just stays to himself, loves his family, loves what he does for a living, loves helping out people, loves traveling, man. He's just an overall good person, and again, it's a luxury that we don't take for granted, having that type of guy and that type of personality in our locker room.
Kai, it seems like so much of this summer into the season has been about team building. The guys out at your place last week, and Klay with the boat in Vegas and all that. Have you been a part of something like that? And how much has team building become so much of a factor in the preseason run up to the season?
Yeah, the little things matter when you're trying to get to know people, and when someone takes the initiative to invite you places, or let alone invite you to their home, you don't want to take that lightly. Not everybody's as open to that, so especially in our league and our industry, it is common for people to get together, but I feel like the teams that differentiate themselves have different relationships as well, where they can talk to each other a little bit more because they've hung out off the court. And it's things that I've mentioned last year too, just when the transition happened for us, or the change happened for us, the shift, is when we started to develop that chemistry off the court, and that started to lead into some more trust on the court. So this training camp, and now it's all been about being intentional with our time, whether we're on the court together, being very communicative, and then we're off the court, just being regular, man, just making sure we're there for each other. We got a few guys that are having babies, already had babies, and we got some new fathers, new family members added to that mix. So the tribe is growing, our family's growing, and it's just great because the community's part of it. It's just as much as part of this is what we're doing in here, and the support. So it feels good to have a overall good feeling of what we're doing in here, and then also off the court.
Guys, something I've wanted to ask you about with your experience of doing this. You've had a lot of opportunities in your career to play deep into June and then have to make the turnaround of a short off season and be ready to go the next year. And then so there's got to be like a balance of what's been your experience, and I'm sure you want to mentor the guys doing this as well, the balance of quick turnaround, short off season, manage all of that, but you got to hit the ground running when the season starts. That's obviously a pretty tricky process, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky process if you haven't been through it, and it's a tricky process for anybody because you play so much basketball. You're tired mentally, emotionally, physically. When you're not the winning team, it's a long summer. It's a lot of scrutiny, criticism you have to deal with, and all is fair in that sense. Because if you don't play well, then you got to deal with that. And I think that's where I say our motivation is at a different level than it was last year, just because we kind of know what to expect from one another. We're dialed in with the concepts on defense, and then offensively, we have all-world talent. So we don't necessarily worry about each other there. We just need to give each other space and be patient. And I think the two words for this year is just consistency and discipline. And that's what we want to live by every single day when we come in here, and then also how we treat our bodies and treat each other off the court.
You mentioned on Media Day, you made a reference to being an old head.
Yeah.
Is that
young old head?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Is that advice, what you're talking about, is that advice that's being well received, and are you embracing the opportunity to kind of pass along
I'm embracing it
longevity?
100%. I was just talking to one of my family members yesterday. The perception from the outside, right, I have to accept it, of just me being 14 years in a business. People are going to look at me differently. So I've settled into this position as a young old head, but also done a better job of being intentional with my communication, knowing that I know better, and knowing that actions speak louder than words. So I just want to lead by example, and also have fun doing what I love to do, and then simultaneously learn how to teach better, man. I'm learning from Hall of Famers, coaches that we have here. They're teaching me how to teach better. So when I'm done playing this game, I can continue to pass it on to the next generation.
How exciting is it to have just what looks to be just the versatility of your offense, that whether it's Luka with the ball, you with the ball, you guys being screeners, Klay being a screener, just things that seem to have expanded your offense more even than what you were doing in the playoffs last year.
I think we can show you better than we can explain it, because I could go down all the pieces and stuff like that we have, but in practice, it's been fun just to feel the spacing out there. Luka being back out here, he starts doing all his Luka magic stuff, and guys got to be ready to play off of that. And I think that's the beautiful thing. We have guys that you can play off of here, guys that you can throw the ball to in ISO, guys that are willing to play selfless, and then also understanding that, when we're out there and guys are playing ISO, that's not just our strong point. We have other options that we can have out there. Teams are going to load up on me and Luka, so we got to do a better job as leaders of the team, being able to get off the ball, playing different roles on positions on the court, and the rest of the good things will follow as long as we do the right things.
So are you saying you're going to be a coach once you retire?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm a coach at this level, man. I'm more of like consultant type. Like I make my own hours. If you know my personality, I'm not trying to be forced to do anything, man. So you telling me I got to show up at 9 a.m. I'm like, maybe like 9:08 or something like that. But no, man, I think once I'm done, I'll definitely have one of the best academies of all time. Skills training, mental, spiritual, emotional, and just bringing a lot of the experts, not only in the game of basketball, but in different fields, and just bringing a lot of youth together. A lot of the young old heads, bringing them back, making sure I'm paying homage to the legends. And yeah, man, after basketball is gonna be so much fun. But right now, I'm enjoying this just as much.
You said you guys don't mince words when you're out there on the court, but you guys also break bread and make sure you come together as brothers. How important is it to have that work and life balance?
It's very important, man, to have a work-life balance. If anybody's had a parent out there that sacrificed majority of the time to achieve their dreams, they understand what I'm talking about. Just, I know what it looks like to not have work-life balance, and just being able to connect with guys on a deeper level, that's what makes this job even more worth it. So, yeah, man, going to work, feeling good about who you're around, loving who you're around, because I spend more time with them throughout the year, more than my family. So it's a good thing to like the guys you're coming to work with. And then secondly, I would just say the maturity, just being able to put things in perspective. One game is not the end of the season, so to say, and we're going to get everybody's best. So it's no time to hold your head down or be mad at a mistake. It's all a learning process, especially when you're coming into a long NBA season.